What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the X2Toys XT009 add-on kit for your Ultra Magnus generations. Make sure you get the right one, whether you have the US or the Japanese one. Let's take a look at what's in the box. I've already kind of looked at it. We got some instructions here. I'm not going to show you the instructions. I haven't put this on. We're going to go ahead and kind of basically every single part that they have on the instructions. I'm going to go ahead and film a little thing at least on one of the sides so you guys know what you're doing. So let's look at the parts. In here we got this little foam sheet. We've got a screwdriver because we're going to need one, so that's nice that they included that. Look at this. This is like a little toy liberation as well as a review. We've got a big old gun for Ultra Magnus here. A bunch of little clip pieces here that off the top of my head I'm not sure exactly what they are. I'm guessing that they're fillers for Ultra Magnus. We got some head pieces, new face plates, and a new head. We've got definitely what looks to be his thighs. Not sure yet. We'll figure that out. Maybe feet extensions, I'm guessing. Some new forearms here, and what's going to end up being the truck. So let me get Ultra Magnus out and let's have a look at him before we put any of this stuff on. So real quick before we start doing anything, here's our Ultra Magnus in his robot, our vehicle mode. This is, I'm pretty sure, his gun pieces. They've been in a box for a while, but I'm pretty sure that this is the ones because you could hook these on and make the hammer. We'll probably throw this back in the box and never look at him again because this upgraded gun is just so much better. Like, look at that. That's substantial. Goes down like this. We'll see. When we actually come back and look at the robot mode or the vehicle mode, we'll see if there's any way we can store this in there. That'd be real nice. Not sure because we haven't done this yet. So let's get back to his robot mode and look at that before we start up. And here we go. Here's Ultra Magnus in his robot mode, and you can see he's got some good gaps here. Not so bad in the legs down here, but completely hollow feet. A lot of back gaps going on. All these thigh gaps. So let's actually start looking at the instructions piece by piece here. So the first step of the instructions using our little supplied screwdriver tells us to remove this piece here. And we're never going to use it again. Once we have that off, that should look like this, and you'll have these pieces and they go nowhere. And one thing I want to stop and say here, because I'm not sure if I said it before, and if I haven't, shame on me, this review is actually brought to you by my good buddy Yule over at Third Party Crashers. He picked this up and was impressed with the kit and wanted me to check it out, so he actually sent me a version of the kit for my own Ultra Magnus. So the second thing they want us to do here is take this off, and I definitely really appreciate it because I wouldn't be picking this up if it wasn't for Yule. So if you like this review, make sure you tell Yule thank you. I mean, I'm very grateful for this, and I'm definitely going to be keeping this in my collection because it looks pretty interesting from what I've seen online. So let me get this face off and I'll be right back. So I've got the face here off. It's just one screw, and here is the replacement piece we're going to be putting on. Now the one thing I can say is that the blue doesn't feel like it matches 100%. It's very close, but it's definitely a little bit off, but I don't think it's going to be much that's going to be noticeable. Anyway, so once you have this off, make sure that we get everything lined back up properly because Ultra Magnus has a weird head, and it doesn't look like this is going to interfere at all with the little I don't know, brain master in there. I'm not sure what you would call it, but we'll go ahead and screw this back in. So now the next part is we're going to take all these little filler pieces, and it's labeled on the box left and right, and you want to make sure that we have the right ones here, and we should. Let me just double check this. Yeah, we definitely pulled out the right one here. It's tight, so I think once it goes in, it's probably never coming back out again, as if you would want to, but you just press these pieces on in. You take this like L1 here, and this goes up into here, and it presses on in, and you can see it really does a nice job filling all this stuff in. just make sure that you have them all positioned correctly before you push them in, because like I said, chances are you're not getting them out after they're in. But that is a huge difference on the back of the thigh here. So the next bit is to take this here, and all you do is slot this on in here. And then this actually has a little flip down thing, and we can put the extra faces right in here. So while we're looking at that, here is the faces. We've got like an Optimus Prime face. I wish there was a little more paint on the eyes here, but it just plugs right into the backpack there. We've got like your standard, you know, gruff looking Ultra Magnus face, which is what we're going to use, and we've got the mouth open Ultra Magnus face. So like I said, you can put these in here, fold that back up. Pretty nice place to keep all the faces contained, though I'm seeing mine is not really closing right with them in here. I wonder, do they have to go a certain way, or is it just, yeah, you know what, it looks like the Prime face has to go on the top, and then it has to be the Ultra Magnus face on the bottom. And the reason for that is because there's actually a little cutout in there for Ultra Magnus's chin. There we go. It closes right up. Well, it still kind of pops out on its own, but it's not so bad. And they did add some little extra details down here, like a little, looks like a kind of like a jetpack type thing down here. And coming around to the front here, we can open this up. Open the front of the truck, which is no longer attached. Keep that in mind. And we can rotate this and give the little Ultra Magnus face in here. Come on, get in there. The only problem with this set is you're really working with small, confined spaces, but here you go. There's the difference in faces. I wish the eyes were bluer. I'm probably going to paint that myself because you can't see his eyes for the most part with this kit. But I think the overall shape of the face looks nicer. Anyway, so we got this. We'll put that back down. It's not going to interfere with the headmaster or the brainmaster, whatever you want to call it, but we're not going to deal with him anymore. And there we go, that part's done. So the next thing we're going to do is work on his arms here, kind of pop this out, and then it doesn't take very much pressure, just kind of push on that T-joint there to pop this out like so. And we need to take this piece off. So make sure you have the correct hand when you're putting it back on. It does seem like it has a little bit of extra ratchets in there, but I will say that the white is pretty noticeably different to me, to the point that when you actually do install this on the Ultra Magnus, like so, and we'll push this back up, like understandably a good chunk of it is covered here once we put this panel back on, which will again work exactly the same way it worked previously, just like that, and fold it on in. But it's a pretty stark difference between the whites on this guy. I guess overall it's not a huge deal because it's mostly covered by the blue, but it is definitely pretty visibly different, which is weird because the hand is not. The hand is much closer. So let me get the other side done and we'll move on to the next step. So the next part is to take these and flat out rip them right on off on both sides here, and then they tell us to open up the back like so, and then this thing just kind of folds on up and in, and then I think we still close this down around it. It doesn't look like it closes all the way, so it's kind of like that in the pictures. So let's do that again for this side. And then, once we have this, we take these new pieces here and we fold them open like so. And this part's the part that's a little tricky, at least to tell what the instructions are really trying to tell us to do. But I think they want us to take these past here, and you can see it clips in. Yeah, so that's what they want. just like that to make his foot much more stable here. And of course, the final thing we have left to do is take these pieces here and just plug them right into the old feet here to give like these little thrusters that you can reveal by opening up these back panels to kind of give more structure to his feet, while also, I guess, giving a point to these back panels. But again, they don't really close, and I don't think that that's all. I don't know, that's not that great to me when it just kind of sits like that. But anyway, here is our now upgraded Ultra Magnus, and I do have to say that you know, the whites here, even though it kind of bugs me a little, they're not what I really notice when we have this. The feet are a drastic improvement here, and then, like, you know, the back, all this stuff being not hollow is particularly nice. And like I said, you do have this feature where you can open these up and kind of give them these, you know, rocket things. Feet have them on the bottom, so yeah, I mean, it's nice little extra detail. Not something I would use, but it's nice. Again, the faces are stored here. Your articulation is all the same as it was previously, but you have heavier ratchets right here. We can open up his fingers, and I do believe each one of them is individual here. Nope, his pinky and his ring finger are not, but if you are the type of person who likes your transformer flipping people off, you can sort of do it. I mean, the fingers are curved, but you can do it. You can take this gun here, and it kind of goes in, and you can see there's a nice peg right here, so he holds it super nicely. It is huge. It's just absolutely enormous, though. And for me, it does kind of come out of that peg hole when I'm messing around moving it, but I mean, yeah, he holds it just fine. I mean, it's definitely a more fitting gun for Ultra Magnus here. Now, one thing I want to point out here is that when we took off this piece here, you now have a whole loose back of the truck. You can take the truck right out, and that's a problem to me a little, because this part here is like this assembly right here is what I think is weakest with Ultra Magnus, and nothing makes this more solid. I wish there was something extra in here that held the chest piece on better, because I always find that this is loose, and then with this just being loose, like, everything just feels, you know, this all feels worse as a result. And you can't put that little circular piece back in, because you can't put these pieces on here in position without it. So if you like these, you know, there's not a whole bunch you can do. And this is a nice little additional piece to have on here, so I don't know. Maybe there's something you can do to keep the truck together, but it definitely loosens everything up. So his gun has a couple little tricks. We can actually take this, fold this in, and this extends out. And once again, it reveals another one of these little pegs here. I believe things are sized just perfectly to fit right between that armor here. And we can take this and plug it into his hand. Perhaps. There we go. Get his fingers down there so he's holding this. And you still have the option to add these pieces, I guess, like that on both sides, or forward, I guess, to make, you know, like an axe or a hammer type thing. I do think that that looks pretty cool, and mine does hold it fairly well, but these joints in Ultra Magnus are some weaker ones, so mine, I don't know, you can see sometimes he holds it just fine, but other times, as soon as he gets like a little vibration here, it just kind of works its way down. So if you can tighten these up somehow, and I'm not sure, we'd have to take this whole thing apart to see if we can, it would work better, but just be aware of that. But I do think it is a nice little extra accessory. So let's get him back to his car mode. I think pretty much everything for transformation is the same, so I'm not going to show the transformation. If anything is different, I'll point it out. One more thing before we go back to car mode. I just noticed while I was looking at the instructions, if you do have this like this, this is designed to just peg right there so you can have him have his gun on the back. And that's a nice little, you know, extra feature. It doesn't really add much, but it doesn't take away either. I like it. That's nice. So of course the major change to this set is that Ultra Magnus now doesn't need to have the truck there. It's a shame. There's a lot of detail on here, and it's surprising how much detail is on the truck that just kind of goes to waste. And you get these nice little exhaust pipes on the back, which is a little bit redundant considering the smokestacks on the side, but whatever. Nice little extra detail that they added. Now the trailer transforms pretty well the same way. The only exception here is we have to figure out exactly what we're supposed to do with these feet pieces. So from my understanding, we kind of flip this up, and I think that all of this kind of, I'm not really clear on what they want us to do here with the instructions, but it looks mostly like we fold all this stuff in kind of like so. So we take this, and they give us two options here, so we're going to do them both. We kind of bring these in like this, and we close up the back of the truck here and put all this stuff together and peg it into the side. And this is what they refer to as, why is this not straight? What's going on here? Yeah, see, you got all this extra stuff in the trailer now, and it kind of hampers the way this stuff interconnects. Doesn't really feel like it's nice and secure. You kind of got this going on, and I don't know if this is supposed to go down. I guess just like that, and we can take this. Yeah, so this is what they're calling car mode number 1, which does incorporate the feet on the outside or inside here, but you kind of lose some of the trailer in that mode. Also, there's no disclosure in the instructions what you can do with this. I mean, I guess you can kind of peg it on the side if you want, but there is no official place to put this. Would have been cool if they had something to, you know, a proper place for this to secure here. So the second way that they have this listed, we have to undo this here, flip these back out, and then let me see if I'm understanding these correctly here. This, I believe, goes up like this and then swings all the way down like so. So I think it's supposed to look like this, and then we can kind of close all this up again, and that's going to keep these feet outside the truck here. And it just, like, this doesn't feel like it's really secure properly here, but that is what the instructions seem to be telling me to do. I think the better way to do this is definitely the one with the feet inside the trailer. I think it just ends up looking the cleanest. I think it's just like that, and I mean, I don't like that gap. He actually ends up looking like he's like a Cybertronian trash truck from the back. I don't know. Yeah, that's your second vehicle mode option, and I don't particularly care for this. So here's the thing. There's these base modes in here, and it's really difficult to figure out how things are supposed to contort to make it look just like that. And frankly, I don't think it looks all that good. I've tried for a little while now, and I just don't really feel like trying anymore. Yeah, you use Ultra Magnus here like some little like turret tank thing, and they want you to take his face off, but that seems like a terrible idea. So this is one of the modes, and I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me. It's like the Fans Project Ultra Magnus brick, and calling that an alt mode. And then the second one, I don't know, it's a little more manageable. but ultimately it looks like you started transforming Ultra Magnus and didn't finish. So I don't really think that that's all that big of a feature, and frankly, I don't really have the time or patience to do those base modes, unfortunately. So what do I think about this kit overall? And we're going to leave it like that. There's some really nice things in this kit, and there's some things I don't understand. The arms here, we need to match that white better, that's for sure, and you've done it on other pieces, and you need more paint. Other than that, I think it looks good. Your blues don't match at all, so that bothers me more than I had expected. This back piece here, it is nice. I'm not gonna fault the new doors or anything like that, but it does bulk out Ultra Magnus a little. The thigh fillers, I think, are probably one of the best parts of this. These panels not being able to fold back across these all the way and plug in is a little bothersome. It's kind of an expensive kit for a relatively inexpensive toy, and I know that that's weird because I've liked like the Fans Project armors for the Hasbro Ultra Magnus and Hasbro Hot Rod and stuff like that. This one doesn't give me that warm fuzzy feeling that those ones gave. It's not a bad upgrade kit, but I feel like if you have the old Ultra Magnus that has the whole white robot and the protector armor, it's a better set than this with this. And I don't, to be fair, I don't necessarily think it's X2Toys' fault, but it's limitations on your Ultra Magnus that aren't great in my opinion. And I know like the detachable cab is cool and all, but it really ends up making this toy feel really unstable to me. Yeah, and I think that to me is a little bit difficult to deal with, because I already feel like Ultra Magnus is kind of difficult to deal with as a toy because of his issues here, and I don't feel like the things that I really think should have been addressed outside of hollowness are fixed by the kit. Yeah, I mean, it's a good kit, don't get me wrong, there was some good planning and stuff that went into it, but I'm not so certain if I wasn't sent this that I would go out of my way to buy it. For instance, I was thinking about this the other day when we were talking about the upcoming Power Master Optimus Prime that's coming from the Ultra Magnus mold, and I was like, well, you know, maybe with this kit I'll feel compelled to pick up the Power Master Optimus Prime and put this kit on, you know, the equivalent kit that I could see them doing for Optimus on, you know, the actual Power Master. But now, like, you know, I don't really think I feel like doing that. Like, it's nice, it improves the figure at least somewhat, but you know, a lot of the major flaws of the Ultra Magnus toy are still present, and yeah, it's okay. I mean, that's the best I can give it. But pulling this toy out of storage to do this, like, I realized that, you know, it was fun to get an Ultra Magnus that, you know, truck and trailer. I thought it looked kind of cool. I like the aesthetics of it, but the toy has a lot of flaws, and it's not a toy that I think I would necessarily want to spend any money to upgrade. So when you're talking about an upgrade kit that is, you know, 2 times the cost of the toy in most cases, I don't know, it just doesn't seem worth it to me. And I feel bad saying that because, you know, my buddy Yule, who sent this to me, he really likes this kit, and you know, like, I mean, look at this. I'm having trouble getting things to sit properly in here. That's all correct, because these feet don't want to peg in and hold in place. There we go. I think it's not going to come apart this time, but I'm just trying to mess with, you know, the limitations of the core figure, which is this crotch piece, or, you know, these red pieces that don't want to hold in anywhere, and since they're not pegged in properly and they're just sitting there now, like, they just have this tendency to fall down because they're not really well formed on the regular toy. I mean, I can kind of jam it in there and keep it in position, I guess, but that's not really what's intended. Yeah, so the core figure has too many flaws, in my opinion, to make this kit worthwhile. I would argue with the change in classics and stuff, go out and pick up the old Ultra Magnus, the white one, because I don't think he's as expensive as he used to be, and if he is, I mean, there's knockoffs galore of that, and the Fans Project Protector, or yeah, City Commander armor, and ultimately I like that better. This is a little bit bigger, it'll probably look nicer in a classic shelf, and that may be your whole reason to buy this. But just be aware that this kit, to me, doesn't fix problems with it, and at 2 times the cost of the figure, you know, like I said, I'm not going to be buying the Power Master just to put this armor on it after this, because it doesn't impress me to that point. So this is T2RX6. Again, thank you, Yule, for sending this my way. I still like it. I'm still going to keep it around and cherish it, but I definitely am not buying the second one for myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.